All right, this is Dave Gagnon, and this is our webinar on an introduction to eXp Realty. If we get a good recording on this, we're going to save it for replay later. So you might be able to go back and listen to it again that way. So let me jump right in here. So first of all, quick introduction on me. I got licensed back in 1985 after being an investor for a while. In 2006, I got invited to become a team leader for Keller Williams. And over 7 years, I did 7 different offices and got them operational and profitable and got agent count up and all those kind of things. And to be quite frank, I was very happy. I was not looking for a change. I got a call to talk to me about eXp back in 2013. And I wasn't interested. I said no. Very appreciative for the call and all that stuff. I was fortunate enough that I got another call 6 months later. And that time I wasn't more open-minded, but the person that called me was a little bit more skilled in getting me to at least agree to understand the details before I said yes or no. And so I agreed to that. I agreed to a 15-minute coffee meeting. And it turned into 2.5 hours because the more questions I asked, the better I understood it. The better I understood it, the more excited that I got. And I actually resigned the next day. And I've been here ever since. So at this point, it's almost 6 years. And best decision of my life, changed my family's life. And I have a passion to share. That's why I'm doing this webinar, so other people can share it. And I can let you know how it works and how it's working for me. So first of all, I'm going to cover what I call the 5 pillars. These are the 5 major reasons why I think people are making the move over. And your reasons are going to be yours, right? And so for most people, 1 or 2 of them are the reason why they're making the move. And for each person, based on where you are in your real estate career, in your life, they're going to speak to you in different ways. So I try not to focus too much on one or the other. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about our founder, Glenn. Glenn has started tech companies before. He mastered the art of lead generation for real estate before coming into real estate. It made sense with all the leads that he was generating to change his shift from selling the leads to agents to creating an opportunity to close those leads himself. And he got into the business, realized he had more leads than he could handle, formed a team, was really, I think, the first expansion team in the country where he was operating in several different states, many different metropolitan areas, and had this massive lead generation system going on. He was working, for another brokerage, and at some point in time, it stopped making sense to work for the other brokerage, broke out on his own, and created what eventually became eXp Realty. And so he made that shift in 2009. And the market was taking a nosedive at that point in time. So he immediately needed to get into a mode of being agile, right, and making modifications. And so one of the things was, you don't need an office. We can get rid of that expense. You don't need redundant staffing. You can have great people in one location supporting agents in many locations. And so he started making changes, which eventually became our model here today, which I'll share with you. I got involved in the company in 2013. That's also the year that the company became publicly traded as eXp World Holdings. And that gave us the ability to recognize our agents with an equity position in the company. We'll talk about that a little bit. In 2015, we came out with the Icon Agent Award Program, which I think is absolutely amazing. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. So anyway, here we go. So when I came over in 2013, the company had 272 agents. After coming over, I became the director of growth and cloud leadership. And so I worked with the leaders, I worked with corporate, and effectively I was the team leader helping everyone grow all over the country. At that time, we were in 18 states. And quite frankly, in most MLSs, we didn't have 2 agents to rub together. right? So we had an awful lot of growth to do. The next year, we ended with over 400 people. The year after, over 800 people. The year after, 2,200 people. The year after, 6,600 people. And last year, we ended with over 15,000 people. So I'm not going to be bold and put a big number on where I think we're going to end this year, but I expect the growth to continue at an exponential rate the way we've been doing. Now we're in all 50 states, plus the District of Columbia, 3 Canadian provinces at the time of this webinar, and I believe that's going to go up this year also. Plus, I think we'll add at least one more country before the year is over. I love our core values. I'm not going to get into it a whole lot at this time. But I love that they're ours, and I love what they represent, and I'm happy to talk with anybody about any of them. I'm going to get into pillar number 1 on the technology side. You know, technology has a way of creeping in. And my favorite story to point it out is the Blockbuster story. You know, I raised 6 kids. I lived in the Northeast. We would get, 30 inches of snow typically during a winter. And it would be about 10 pretty good storms. And when a big storm would come in, we would, pack up the kids, go down to Blockbuster. All 6 kids would pick a movie or two, maybe a game or two. I'd get something to entertain myself, and then we'd have, school closings or whatever it is. And then when it was time to bring them back, I'd have rewind fees and late fees and all that stuff. I think I single-handedly kept Blockbuster very profitable for a number of years. And then along came this company when DVDs came out. Netflix came up with this concept that instead of going into a store all the time, you could just order what you want from home, have them delivered, watch them whenever you want, no rewind fees because they were discs, no late fees because you could keep them as long as you wanted, and you could return them as quick as you want and see more movies. And so we started doing that, and we never went back to Blockbuster again. Netflix went to Blockbuster and they said, hey, look, we got this concept. We think it's really awesome. You guys are the leaders in home entertainment and we want to partner with you. We think our idea is worth $6 million. And Blockbuster said, nope, not interested. We could do it ourselves if that's what we chose to do. And so the $6 billion company said no to a $6 million acquisition. 6 years later, Blockbuster was technically out of business. I think until last year, there was still one store operating up in Alaska, but technically, dead and gone. And now Netflix is in every home, on every smart TV, on every DVD player, right? And so, technology changes. Think about stores like Circuit City and the domination of Amazon. We think the same thing is happening from traditional brokerage to the EXP model, and I want to share that with you. So I think technology is key. Most agents don't have a CRM, that'd be a client relationship management tool. They don't have their own IDX feed. They don't have their own website. And so they're not capturing those clients that are searching for homes in those ways. They have no way to really serve those needs of the people that they know, in their spheres of influence. And they don't have it because good ones cost money, a lot of it. And so, typically $500 plus a month to have a good CRM. And so we use one that I think is among the leaders in the industry. Normally it would be $500 per month. Everyone gets it for free. It's part of our overall offering here. And with that, you have the ability to satisfy your clients' needs, to know what's going on in the marketplace, and what's for sale, what is sold, what did it sell for, and everything ties back to you and you alone. There's not a representation of other agents for them to click into. And so it's a way to really control those relationships. The other part of the technology is our world. And so, if you look, you got a little avatar, little dude or dudette looks like you, and you can dress it up in a way that you would, dress yourself. But it's really a tool that allows us to get in and interface with each other. We have, at this point, 16,000 agents interfacing with over 300 staff members. And whether you want to talk to your compliance broker, whether you're talking to trainers, you're doing script scrimmage with other talented agents around the country to get better at your scripts or dialogue, or you're coming in to get training on tactics, strategies to grow your business. It's all available without commuting into the office. We have a tool called eXp Enterprise, which gives you access to your entire back end of your business so you can see what's going on there. We use SkySlope, so digital forms, digital signature platform, easy to use, and no more, a lot of the, scanning and craziness that goes on out there. We use Workplace, which is the business version of Facebook, to be able to interface, and you literally have a direct line of communication with everyone in the company, from your brokers to the staff, all the way to the CEO of the company. And you can engage in all kinds of groups that are set up for you in a private setting to be able to collaborate all across the country. Training, this slide still shows 20 hours of live training each week. Last week, I think it was 30 or 32 hours of live training. The goal is by the end of this year to have it up around 80 hours. And so when we talk about the Icon bonus later, one of the things that we ask of our Iconic agents is to give back 1 hour per month in the Cloud Office, sharing what makes them successful and the tips that they would share with others and collaborate in a meaningful way. And so that adds to all the things that we get to train on. The third pillar is our financial model. And this one's a little bit tricky to talk about because I'm not talking to you live. We're here on the webinar. And so depending on where you are, there are different parts of that are going to be more compelling. So for example, if you're, producing currently less than, $2.5 or $3 million in real estate, the split is probably the most important piece. And so folks that are producing less, they could have as low as a 50-50 split with their broker, maybe 60-40. And brokers can play a lot of games with splits. I've seen agents telling me they're on an 80% split, and after we look at their commission statement and we take out the royalty fee, the other marketing fees that the broker tax on, this and that fees and all of that, they're all the way down to maybe 62-64% on an 80% plan. So with us, it's 80-20 for everybody, and there's no royalty because we're not a franchise. If someone's doing more than $2.5 million, $3 million or so, they're going to cap, meaning they're going to pay $16,000 to the company, and then they go on the 100% plan. When you're on the 100% plan, you get 100% on your side of the ledger minus a capped transaction fee. And so on your first deal after capping, it's $250. Once you've done 20 deals or paid in $5,000 of capped transaction fees, it then drops to $75 per transaction, and it stays there for the balance of your year. So if you're just doing a couple after capping, wonderful. If you're doing a ton, then that's going to trigger an Icon bonus, which is huge. And I'll talk about that in pillar number 4. We do have a couple of fees. It's $149 to join. That takes care of your first order of business cards, as well as launching all the technology. Just to keep it in perspective, if you were launching a KV Core site on your own, it would be $900 or $1,000 just to launch it. The launch is included in that $149 and all of that. Our tech fee is $50 per month. That includes the lead gen, the back end management, all the tools that I showed you so far. We have a university tuition fee, and it can be paid one of two different ways. You can do $35 a month or $420 a year off of your first closing, and that we all contribute to that to have the Cloud Office and to be able to keep it updated and growing and all of those kind of things. We have a broker review fee, which is $25 per deal. And so let's say Jeff and I do a deal. I got the listing. He's got the buyer. Since it's $25 per deal, we would split that $12.50 a piece. And then we have a risk management fee, or E&O, depending on what it's called in your area. And it's $40 per deal, and it caps at $500 per year. Let's talk about teams a little bit. And so husband and wife, domestic partners share a single cap of $16,000. If it's a team where you have a rainmaker or a team leader and then agents that are working under that rainmaker, then the agents on that team have a half cap of $8,000, and you can have as many team members as you want. For people who are running much larger teams, we have a designator called a mega team. So to be a mega team, that's 175 or more deals a year. It's 40 million or more per year in gross sales, and it would be 10 team members working under the Rainmaker. If that's you, let's make sure we're having a private conversation about that. And that would trigger a mega team platform, and that would allow you to bring on your team members at a quarter cap of $4,000 per year. And you could be a mega team coming over, or you could come over and then achieve the status of being a mega team and be able to modify that on a go forward basis. I'm going to talk about the equity model. So everything that we talked about before this is, what do you give to a broker, right, in your split, and what do you get from the broker in tools, resources, training, education, those kind of things. Everything we're going to talk about from here out, I think, is very compelling and very exciting. So let's talk about the equity model first. So first of all, if you've been in the business 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you being at your brokerage brings tremendous value. It's not just the split, but you being there and doing your deals gives credibility, which makes it easier for that broker to recruit other agents. It gives credibility for that broker if he wants to sell that asset. Right. And so a broker can, grow his brand and sell it to someone else that wants to buy it. But the number one asset of that brokerage is you, the agents. So it makes no sense to me or to us that, the asset is you, but you get no piece of the sale. And so Glenn wanted to make sure that the agents were valued, and we wanted to show your value in equity. So there's 3 separate equity conversations. One is equity awards. There are 3 different things that happen in this piece. And so when you do your first sale each year, there's an award. And right now it's at $200 worth of stock. And that's every year. If you do enough business to cap, meaning you've paid in the $16,000, there's another stock bonus of another $400. So that's a total of $600 worth of stock for being here and being a capper every year. Let's say Sally, and you share how excited you are about the company with Sally. You do a co-broke with her. She decides to join the company, and you enroll her in, meaning that she names you as her sponsor. And when Sally does her first deal, she's going to get $200 worth of stock, but the company is going to give you another bonus of $400 for every single person that you do that with. So those are all awards. I think it's better than a plaque. I've gotten a lot of plaques in my life, and one thing I know for certain is I can't sell them for $1, right? They have absolutely no value. But with stock, I can sell it. It's public. I can move it into my E-Trade account or whatever I use to broker my stocks. I can put a sell price on it, and I can sell it once I own it. On the awards, they do have a 3-year vest. The second stock conversation is on the stock purchase program. There's no vesting on this part of it, but an agent can opt in on a monthly basis, in or out, to contribute 5% of their gross commission dollars. And so the company will hold it back all month long. At the end of the month, the company will sell to the agent from treasury stock, EXP stock, at a 20% discount as it compares to what people were buying it for publicly on the last business day of the month. I think that's incredible. The third piece is the Icon bonus program. And so this is for people who are doing 25, 35 deals a year. The real trigger is you need to be a capper, meaning you've paid in $16,000, and then you pay in $5,000 of cap transaction fee. And so 20 deals, or if I'm splitting it with someone else, right? If I'm doing it 50-50, then I'm only paying $125. So it's triggered off that $500 or $5,000 being paid in. And then once I do that, so long as I'm willing to give back 1 hour per month, sharing the stuff that I've learned in real estate to help other people do well, then I'm going to be an Icon agent. And for that, I'm going to receive up to 3 different bonuses in equity. One bonus is a $12,000 stock bonus, and that's triggered once I've capped and I've paid in $5,000 of cap transaction fee. That $12,000 is paid to me, and it has a 3-year vest. There's two other bonuses that work the same way. There's a $2,000 stock bonus for attending our convention, which is in the fall, and another $2,000 bonus, stock bonus, which is paid for the icon attending the shareholder event, which is typically in the spring. So a total of $16,000 paid back out. I think it's amazing stuff. I don't know if the stock's going to go up or down in the future, but I know that if you do a little due diligence and you look at what stock has been selling for, and if you had been here a year or two or three, and if you had been an icon agent, what would that be worth today? Whether the stock is up or down today, I believe it's worth more than any plaques that you've received over that same period of time. Revenue share is, I think, a very cool element. I talk to a lot of agents who say, look, I don't want to be a recruiter. I just want to do real estate. I want to serve my clients. And to them, I say, fantastic. If you're not a recruiter, we don't want you messing it up. We just want you to be an attractor. Learn to be an attractologist, right? Learn the science of attraction. And so you would just do the same thing that happened to you so far. Someone saw something special in you. They've invited you to be part of our opportunity. They introduced you to this webinar. You've watched the video. It'll finish here in a couple minutes. And at the end, you're going to decide whether it's for you or not. If not, you've invested 30 minutes to learn more about the detail. If you are interested, you're going to apply and enroll in the company, name them as your sponsor, and every time you do a transaction, they're going to get rewarded through revenue share. So learning how to be an attractologist, I think, is very easy. You have folks like me where we've been doing stuff like this for a long time. You could call me a professional recruiter. You have access to me and your upline and their upline, and we all want to help the company grow because you may be in our revenue share group. And even if you weren't in my revenue share group, I'm a shareholder in the company, and having another good agent here helps the company be better. I think it can help impact our stock price and continue to help us be more valuable. So let me talk about the revenue share. So if you introduce Fred to the company and you enroll him in, every time Fred closes a deal, right, he's on an 80-20 split. So let's say it's a $10,000 commission. Fred gets $8,000 on his side. The company gets $2,000 on its side of the ledger. And the company's going to pay to you 3% of the $10,000. That would be $350. That would come out of the company side of the ledger. And the company pays out 50% of the company dollar to the people that are building the company. And so you can have one Fred, you can have 100 Freds, right? Those are your front line. And there's no limit or restriction to how many people that you can introduce to the company. But let's say you introduce Fred, and Fred is really excited about it, and he knows a lot of people, he's well respected, and he starts sharing it with other people, let's say Barney and Wilma and Betty, and they all join the company, they all name Fred as their sponsor. Fred's going to get 3.5% on all of them. You're also going to be bonused on them. There's a small bonus and a big bonus. If you have 5 Freds, you're going to get the big bonus. That means they're worth up to $3,200 per year. And I'm just going to bounce over to this slide here just so you can see. We do pay through 7 tiers, right? So if Fred brought in Barney, who brought in Wilma, who brought in Betty, Betty would be at your tier 4, and we pay through 7 tiers. I've been doing this for about 6 years at this time, and I have brought in 36 Freds, right? 36 frontline, and I've helped those people bring in some folks, and they've brought in some folks, and quite frankly, I have people more talented than me in my group, and they're enrolling people on a monthly basis too. And so I have right now about 1,600 people through 7 levels or 7 tiers, and the company pays me a little bit on all of them whenever they close, and they're not capped. And it's really an amazing, amazing opportunity. Just a little bit, you know, we're not a body shop. This isn't about just chunking the numbers along. You were invited to this because someone saw something special in you, either as an agent or as a leader, and they shared this. But in the end, right, we're not a recruiting company, we're a real estate company. So good things happen for everyone when transactions happen. So I just want to show you a little bit about what's been going on. So this is the 2016 recognition that was given in 2016. 2017. And so EXP in the Real Trends 500 report, we were number one in movers in transaction percentage growth. We're number 4 in volume growth. We were number 7 in total transactions closed. In the Risk Media top 500 power brokers, we were number 8 in total transaction close and number 18 in total close volume. And in the Swanepoel Mega 1000, we were number 7 in agent count. Think about that. This is in the entire United States, number 7 brokerage in agent count. Remember, we're not a franchise. We're not selling hundreds or thousands of offices, and someone who is, buying the franchise is out there having an office with 10 people, and all of that are calling themselves part of one brand, when in reality, they're under one brokerage. We have 16,000 agents at this point under one brokerage. Just amazing stuff. And so hopefully you've heard enough where you're compelled to join the company, or at least to have a follow-up conversation. So talk to the person who invited you into this webinar today, and they'll answer your questions. If not, they'll get you on a 3-way call with one of our leaders, and we can answer your questions. And we'd love to have you here, be part of the growth, and be a shareholder of a company that you can really be proud of, and have an exit plan that can really move you to the next phase of your life when you're done selling real estate down the road. Thank you for coming in. Have a great day.